My name is Keith Breslauer. I'm the founder and managing partner of Patron Capital. We are a real estate private equity firm that's been operational for approximately 25 years in Europe. Our focus is Western Europe and specifically investing in property and property-related opportunities. Most of these opportunities come to us usually caused by some degree of distress or some significant capital requirement that the seller may need to fund or that the property is in need of given changing regulations and changing tenant interest. We run a diversified strategy across our portfolios. Approximately 30 to 40% is focused on residential opportunities. About 20 to 30% is on industrial. About 10 to 20% is on student housing. And then the balance is across multiple different products based upon the opportunity and the potential for us to make a significant return for our investors. We have a very strong team of about 60 people in the management company spread across London, Barcelona, Lisbon, and Luxembourg. And the team has been together for a long time. The average tenure is 16 years at Patron, and the average turnover in the investment team is about 6.1% for over 20 years. The opportunity set today is driven by three aspects: interest rates and the future of interest rates, ESG or environmentally related regulations and the requirement by local governments to implement such regulations, and third, supply and demand and the imbalance that exists across many products and across Europe. We are searching for opportunities that have presented themselves because the interest rate shock has triggered a problem with a loan or a problem with a borrower and its ability to repay or service its debt. We are looking for assets that need investment so we can bring them up to a much higher environmental standard, a energy performance certificate or an EPC rating of say an A or a B. And we're looking for products that have a supply and demand imbalance where there is decent demand and simply no supply, typically driven by the lack of construction during the COVID period. So the combination of those three aspects allow us to formulate a strategy and therefore gives us focus in terms of the types of properties that we invest in. Accordingly, our focus point tends to be on residential because there's supply-demand imbalance and there's a real important need to improve properties from an environmental standard. It tends to be semi-light industrial, which is driven by a combination of sellers who need to sell assets, a requirement to invest in property to bring them up to a high standard, and again, a supply-demand imbalance. It tends to be mid-market student housing, where we have enormous demand but very little supply, and particularly of high-quality supply, and we're really targeting that middle market. And lastly, healthcare, in which we tend to focus on assets that serve the needs of the elderly population. And we look across core markets such as the UK and Germany, which is about 40 to 50% of our investment, about 30 to 40% in Spain and Portugal, which we consider also primary, and the balance across the rest of Western Europe, which would be France, the Netherlands, and the Nordics. Patron's competitive advantage is quite straightforward. We've been around a long time and we've been working together for many years. That experience across multiple cycles is very, very important in a market such as we have today, where you have a very uncertain interest rate environment. You have some real challenges with existing buildings, which are likely going to be obsolete in the near future. And you have to really gauge the supply and demand across micro and macroeconomic cycles. So we bring this experience to bear because the team has been working closely together through multiple cycles, and we believe that presents us with a competitive advantage, and we become a trusted partner to local players and partners, as well as to investors, where we have shown an enormous amount of fiduciary respect of their capital over a 25-year period.